Today, we are going to discuss a very important and interesting chapter from 7th Standard Science Unit 4, that is cell biology. What is a cell? Cell is the basic, structural, fundamental, and functional unit of life. So, cell is the structural, functional, and fundamental unit of life. We are going to study about cell today. It's going to be a very interesting chapter. By the end of this chapter, the students will be able to compare plant cell and animal cell, find the similarities and dissimilarities between them. They will understand the cell as a fundamental unit of life, and they will be able to understand the function of different types of human cell. They will be able to label different cell organelle and know its differences. They will be able to know their similarities, specialities, and functions. Okay, so we are starting here. The introduction starts like this, that is, a girl named Sona had her dinner. After some hours, she experienced a kind of stomach pain. She went to the doctor. So, the doctor said she has been food poisoned with some microorganisms or bacteria. So, that bacteria was Salmonella bacteria. So, the starting of the chapter starts like this with a unicellular organism. Right. So, if we observe, our Earth is a beautiful place where different types of organisms happily coexist. Starting from a unicellular to a gigantic blue whale, every organism are existing in this living organism, in this living world. So, if we observe a home or any kind of building is made up of small bricks and cement. Similarly, living organisms can also be divided into smallest part. So they are made up of a single unit known as cell. So this is going to be the smallest unit of life. Just like a building is made up of bricks, similarly for living organisms the smallest indivisible unit is cell. So either it is animal cell or plant cell or whatever it is, cell is the fundamental unit. It is like the building wall made up of numerous, like a building wall made up of numerous bricks. In the similar manner, a cell is made up of a living organism is made up of cell. So now we are going to see the difference between unicellular and multicellular organism. Unicellular are those which are just made up of a single cell. As the name suggests, uni means one. So here there is no division of labor. All kind of activities like digestion, absorption, assimilation, excretion, digestion, all this should be done through the help of a single cell. Whereas in case of multicellular, there are many cells. So that here there is division of labor. Division of labor is that some kind of specified cells can perform digestion, some other can perform some other activities, like that. There is a differentiation of cell structure and function in multicellular organism. Now if we observe here, there are two structure given, that is cell of the onion mitosis process and human cheek cell has been given here. So, cell to organism. Now, we are going to see a very important topic, that is level of organization. So, level of organization is the process where a cell which is similar in group of structure and function will combine to form a tissue. The tissues which are similar in structure and function will form any organ like stomach, heart, liver, like that. So, group of similar organs will coordinate together to form an organ system, and this organ systems, various kind of organ systems, will coexist or coordinate with each other to form a living organism. It's similar in the case of plants too. You can observe here. So, first component of life starts as a cell. So, many cell will function together to form a tissue. Then the group of tissue will combine to form an organ. For example, stomach, heart, liver, all these. So group of organs will combine to form organ system like respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system, circulatory system. These systems will coordinate with each other or combine to form a living organism. So this is how the multicellular organism exists, and this is the level of organization, how the cell will develop to an organism. So here if you observe the cell as the basic structural and functional unit of life, it is the building unit of living organism. So every living organism starts its life as a single cell. So later the multiplication, division, all these stuffs takes place of mitosis and meiosis takes place. So here there are various types of cell mentioned: epidermal cells, bone cell, muscle cell, nerve cell. Also there are cardiac cell, the cell specialized for each function. Okay, now we are moving on to the plant and animal cell comparison. So if we see the difference between plant cell and animal cell, you can observe here that plant cell has cell wall, whereas the animal cell lacks cell wall. Plant cell has chloroplast, animal cell doesn't have a chloroplast. Then plant cell has a large vacuole, whereas animal cell has small vacuole. So here they have the animal cell has centriole, whereas the plant cell does not have a centriole. Other parts like nucleus, ribosome, cytoplasm, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria and Golgi apparatus are common for both the categories. So in this, if we observe, we'll explain each part. That is, first, nucleus is the control center. It is known as the brain of the cell. So nucleus is also known as the brain of the cell because it controls the entire cell. Then here the mitochondria is known as the powerhouse of the cell because it provides the ATP energy molecules. Then endoplasmic reticulum is for protein and lipid synthesis. Cytoplasm is the place where all the other organelles like mitochondria, nucleus, ribosome are embedded. It's a jelly-like substance. Then the ribosome is the particle where the polypeptide or protein synthesis takes place. Then Golgi complex. Golgi complex is a fold of membrane. It is used for secretion and intracellular transport. So this was about the difference between the plant cell and animal cell. Here, what is inside a cell? That is we discussed, right? So cell is made up of the first layer, cell membrane. Inside that there is nucleus inside the nuclear membrane. So it is embedded in the cytoplasm. So it also consists of mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, and endoplasmic reticulum and all this stuff. So for if you draw a plant cell, the one more layer will be there, that is known as cell wall, which is lacking in the animal cell. And these are the major important parts. So cell wall, why do we need a cell wall actually in plant cell? So it is present basically only in plant cell. So both animal and plant cell are embedded by a cell membrane, but for plant cell there is additional supporter wall, that is a cell wall. Okay. So outer the cell membrane there is one more layer which is known as cell wall, and which is only present in plant cell. So plant cell have additional layer on outside of cell membrane. This is called the cell wall. It provides framework and supportability. So you can observe here it gives the shape to the cell structure. Now we are moving on to the differences between plant cell and animal cell. Here you can write the plant cell has chloroplast. The plant cell has cell wall. They have large vacuole. Okay. They produce chlorophyll. Whereas this side they lack chlorophyll. They lack chloroplast. They lack chlorophyll. They lack cell wall. They have small vacuole, and they have centriole. Here the centriole is absent. So these are the 5 points which you can write as differences between the plant cell and animal cell. Now we are going to the specialized cell and its structure. So here you can observe the specialized cell. Okay. Epithelial cells, so they are mostly flat and columnar in shape. So these are epithelial cell. You can observe the columnar shapes. So they cover the surface of the body for protection. Next, muscle cells, they are long and spindle shaped structure just like this. So they can contract and relax, allowing for the cell for movement. Coming to the nerve cell, here observing here that nerve cell is having a branched structure. These are specialized to carry and conduct message, and they are able to coordinate the functions of the body. So this is an elongated nerve fiber. If I draw a nerve fiber structure, and explain. It will be just like this. So this is the parts. So this is known as dendrites. Here is nucleus. Inside that there is nucleoplasm, and here you are having elongated structure known as the axon. That is the body of the cell, and the end of the cell is nerve ending. Okay, nerve ending. Now red blood cell, these are round biconcave shape in structure. They carry oxygen and they have Hb, that is hemoglobin, which causes the red coloration of the blood. Next, we are moving to stem cell. So human stem cell is the cell which is having the ability to produce all other kinds of cell. So this particular thing is, this embryonic stem cell system is absolutely taking place, or it is making other cell during embryonic stage. So these cell are also named as having a nature of totipotency. So totipotency is the ability to convert or make other, or multiply and divide to prepare other cells from self. That kind of capacity of the stem cell is called as totipotency. Now we are seeing about the cytoplasm. I am the area of movement. Yes. So here this is a temporary. If you see a cell, inside this there is a jelly-like substance where all other cell organelles are embedded. So that particular jelly-like substance which we observe can be named as cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is watery jelly-like, which is 70 to 90% of water. The all other cell organelles like rhizome, reticulum, vacuole, ribosome, all such stuffs are embedded in that. Now we are going to see the difference between protoplasm and cytoplasm. Okay, if we take a cell is having nucleus, so it's also having cytoplasm. So the cytoplasm, okay, is something which is there present inside the cell. The material inside and outside the nuclear membrane is the membrane of the nucleus. So that particular membrane is known as protoplasm. The fluid inside the nucleus is known as nucleoplasm, and the fluid outside the nucleus is cytoplasm. Hope you can understand the difference between the three. So the material inside and outside the nuclear membrane, that is cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm, together can be known as protoplasm. So both cytoplasm and nucleoplasm together or combinedly we can call it as protoplasm. Now mitochondria, this is the powerhouse of the cell. This is the powerhouse of the cell. So do you remember learning about the food as the energy source, where we studied about a concept of ATP, adenosine triphosphate? These are energy molecules. So whatever food we consume, this is having nutrients that's being converted to ATP or glucose molecules, that is providing us with energy. So this particular process is taking place because of the help of the powerhouse of the cell organelle, which is known as the mitochondria. So here is the structure of a mitochondria. The mitochondria is a double membrane structure, because you can observe there is outer membrane and inner membrane, and there is a space between outer membrane and inner membrane, that is intermembrane space. Then it is having a separate DNA matrix and ribosome, ATP synthase, that is required for the energy production. You can observe porins also in the structure. Next is the chloroplast food producers. These are present in green plants. So here only plants with chloroplast are able to do photosynthesis, because they contain the very important green pigment called as chlorophyll. So here there is leaf, there are cell in leaf, and in that cell you can observe a structure known as chloroplast. This chloroplast is responsible for the production of green pigment chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll along with sunlight, water and CO2 will produce the food for the plant. Hence they are known as autotrophs because they don't depend upon any other living organism for the production of food. Okay, now the next component, that the next organelle which is present is Golgi complex. So I need a break. Why it's given like that? Because the membrane bound sacs are stacked on top, known as they are the secretory vesicles. So here the function is storage, package and secretion. So they are secretory in function. Next is lysosome, which is suicidal bag. Everything I touch I destroy. It's because the RBCs have only 120 days of lifespan. After 120 days they automatically come to the lysosome and they destroy itself, so that new RBCs can be produced in the bone marrow. So can you understand why it is known as a suicidal bag? So it digests the RBCs. Okay, they are very small. They are the main digestive compartments of the cell. They lyse a cell, hence they are called, they completely destroy a cell. Hence they are known as the suicidal bags. The centrioles, which are present only in animals, are responsible for the separation of chromosomes during division. So this is the structure of a chromosome. It contains the genetic material DNA. So it's present only, this centriole is only present in animals and it is lacking in plants. Then endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this endoplasmic reticulum has to do many works. What are they? What are works carried out by endoplasmic reticulum? So it can be divided into two, that is rough endoplasmic and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where the rough endoplasmic are due to the attachment of the membrane proteins. So in the surface the proteins will be there, hence the surface is not smooth, it is rough, hence it is known as RER or rough endoplasmic reticulum. Whereas those surface which do not have protein is soft, it is helping in the production of synthesis of lipid, so hence it is known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It lacks protein, whereas this surface has protein. The nucleus is known as the brain of the cell. It is surrounded by a nuclear envelope, one or two of the nucleus. During the cell division, the chromatin body is organized into chromosome. Now functions of nucleus are that, as we already discussed, it is the brain of the cell. It is going to control the entire functions of the cell. So this is the structure of a nucleus. It is known as the brain, master of the cell. So it controls all the process and chemical reaction. It also has the genetic material DNA or RNA. Then the outer layer is nuclear membrane. Then inside you have karyoplasm, or it can also be known as nucleoplasm. Okay, till this it is clear? Fine. Now here, summarize what you have learnt. Now we have studied that internal structure of a cell. Let us summarize what we have studied so far. By understanding this table, you will be able to have a summary of this chapter. So the function of cell membrane is protection. Function of cell wall is rigid structure. It gives a rigid shape and structure, right? Next, the function of cytoplasm, the jelly-like substance. It embeds all other organelles in them. Then mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell. Vacuole is responsible for either storage of food or water. Then chloroplast for the production of chlorophyll. Then endoplasmic reticulum, as we saw, they help in the production of lipids and steroids. Fine. So red blood cells do not contain a nucleus. Why? Because that much place of nucleus can be occupied by HB, hemoglobin. That much amount of oxygen can be carried. So luckily the body produces new red blood cells every day. After 120 day it dies. An RBC dies. So then the body produces the new RBC. Fine. So the important points to remember for this class is, cell are the basic structural and functional unit of living organism. They are microscopic. It can be seen with the help of a microscope. They are selectively permeable in nature. That means they allow only certain substances to pass into them. Okay. Plant cell have cell wall, whereas animal cell lack a cell wall. Then the cytoplasm is a jelly-like substance. It includes every other organelles in them. Mitochondria is the powerhouse that is responsible for respiration and energy release. Plants have chloroplast with chlorophyll pigment for photosynthesis. Then stem cells have the ability to develop and divide into many cells. That this is known as totipotency. Okay, then a group of different tissues make up an organ. Organs working together form an organ system. Organ system make up an organism, for example, human. We'll see the book back answer. The basic unit of life answer is cell. I am the outermost layer of an animal cell. Who am I? Cell membrane. Next, which part of the cell is called the brain of the cell? Nucleus. Dash helps in cell division. Centriole. Suitable term for the various component of cell is cell organelle. Now, fill in the blanks. The jelly-like substance present in the cell is cytoplasm. I convert the solar energy into food for the plant. Who am I? Chlorophyll. You can write it as chloroplast because chlorophyll is a pigment. You can write it as chloroplast. Mature red blood cell do not contain a nucleus. Unicellular organisms can only be seen under a microscope. Cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm is equal to protoplasm. Protoplasm. Fine. Next is true or false. Animals have cell wall. No. Plants have cell wall. So first is false. Salmonella is a unicellular bacteria. Yes, true. Cell membrane is fully permeable. No, it is semi-permeable. Hence it is false. Only plant cell have chloroplast. True. Human stomach is an organ. True. Ribosomes are small organelles with a membrane. They are a small organelles with a membrane. True. Next, match the following. So the suicidal bag is lysosome. So automatically this is 2. Then powerhouse is mitochondria. So this will be 4. Food producer is chloroplast. This will be 5. Then transporting channel is endoplasmic reticulum. This is 1. And your control room will be nucleus. So 3, 1, 2, 5, 4 is the answer. Next, analogy. Bacteria is a microorganism, whereas mango tree is a multicellular organism. Okay, this is a unicellular, this is a multicellular. Adipose is a tissue, whereas eye is an organ. Can you understand the analogy? Cell wall is present in plant cell, whereas centriole is present in animal cell. Chloroplast, photosynthesis, mitochondria, powerhouse or energy production. Okay, energy production, powerhouse of the cell. Now assertion and reasoning. Tissue is a group of dissimilar cell. Muscle is made up of a muscle cell. Okay, what will be the answer? A is false but R is true, right? Majority of cells cannot be seen with naked eye because cells are microscopic. So both A and R are true. Next, very short answers. You can mark it in the book itself. So this was all about the chapter cell biology. Thank you.